Hi guys, so I'm Juliet and these are my group members. So we are presenting on the evolution of science fiction heroes and villains throughout the decades. So we are going to talk about how science fiction evolved, but focusing on how the portrayal of these heroes and villains changed throughout the decades. And each of us focused on two exhibits through our decades to describe this to you. So in the 1980s, fandoms shifted from fanzines to computer worlds, connecting the readers to the cyber world. Authors allowed readers to live in this science fictional reality. And this was all due to the invention of the internet in 1983. And so this led to a huge spike in the cyberpunk movement. The invention of internet kind of led authors and illustrators for these comics and science fiction magazines to go two different ways. One being the introduction of villains and heroes as cyber warriors and virtual reality dreamers and hackers. So they were now portrayed this sort of way, but also with just the crazy introduction of artificial intelligence that these heroes and villains were now using in these comics. So one of the more to it examples is in Neuromancer. So this, by looking at the cover, you can see that it is a computer matrix, and this introduces us into this computer sci-fi punk book that we were about to get into. And so after further reading into the story of this book, we learn that the two main heroes or characters, Dixie Flatline and Henry Case, are console cowboys and human computer hackers that dwell in cyberspace. So they are described as cyber warriors, and their whole thing is to work with this powerful artificial intelligence to control this virtual reality world known as the Matrix. And then in contrary, we have a villain who is Neuromancer, who doesn't want to partner with any other artificial intelligences and tries to kill off the main characters in order to remain alone in this cyberspace. And then kind of in a way that we see it more, but in Marvel, there's a huge flux in spike in the amount of artificial intelligence that is used after the invention of computers and internet. So after the internet, there was a huge spike of these in the creation of these unheard of gadgets and equipment and character suits that these Marvel authors and illustrators were incorporating into these stories. For example, Iron Man, he is a hero, he is a technophile. His suit is piloted and completely controlled by Jarvis, which stands for just a really intelligent system. So this is a major example of how one of these huge heroes has this highly advanced artificial intelligence and AI incorporated into its everyday life. Also, Vision is Jarvis in a synthetic body that was later created. So it's literally just a body of straight artificial intelligence. Then on the villain side for the Marvels, we have Danger, which we can see in the cover, and she is a sentient, artificial intelligence villain who operates under her full autonomy. She worked with the X-Men, I guess against the X-Men. And then lastly, Dr. Octopus had 4 mechanical arms that are all mentally controlled, and he was also the brilliant creator of many computerized machines that he used in his goals. So I guess sum it up, the 1980s was huge because of the invention of the internet, and that really went two directions for authors and illustrators of science fiction and their portrayal of heroes and villains. Is either that these villains and heroes were literally portrayed as cyber warriors and cyber hackers in cowboy consoles, or they were just portrayed with such a flux of artificial intelligence that you could definitely see kind of the change and influence of the internet in the 1980s on science fiction.